Thameslink has always been such a debating point for transport for London. It's been on and off the tube map for years, and on top of this, it's such a critical north-south link for the capital. But with an ever-growing population in London, as well as the need for more train lines, more tube lines, more buses, is there a need for a second Thameslink line? Will it ever evolve? That's what we're here to find out, hopefully. So let's rewind a little bit. What is Thameslink? Well, for those of you that don't live in London or the South East, it's essentially a substantial rail link connecting 115 stations running between Bedford, Peterborough and Cambridge in the north, before heading down towards the capital. They all converge at St Pancras station, with some terminating at King's Cross, and it essentially travels underneath London towards Blackfriars. This section is known as the Thameslink Core and is capable of servicing 24 trains an hour, possibly even more now at its peak, with stops at King's Cross St Pancras, Farringdon, where the new Crossrail Elizabeth line's coming, City Thameslink and London Blackfriars. And from here it splits into two separate routes. Basically they'll head towards Rainham, Sevenoaks, Orpington and Brighton, as well as around the Sutton Loop. And during peak times, they even offer extended services running along the coast to Littlehampton and East Grinstead. And on top of all this, there's even more extensions planned, down towards Ashford and a new express link via London Bridge. Now, if you're a Londoner, or even a commuter that uses Thameslink, you'll understand how important a railway is, just due to its sheer size and the need for such a high capacity line. So it not only connects several commuter towns such as Gravesend or St Albans or Peterborough, it also goes to several leisure destinations, including Cambridge and Brighton for those that want to actually leave for the coast. And it also goes to two airports, Luton and Gatwick. Just so you understand how many people a train can carry during an hour, Thameslink usually has 12 carriages running through the core, which are each capable of holding 666 seats. Really convenient, that number actually. And 1,088 standing according to their specs, which means each train can have 1,754 people. Times that by 24 trains an hour, and you could be moving 42,096 people an hour, which I could easily see during rush hour. And just to put that in perspective to number of people, that's essentially the whole population of Monaco, if you've ever been, of course. So what does this have to do with a second Thameslink? Well, people are working, living and commuting in different bits of London now. The centre is slowly moving east, which also is emphasised by the London Infrastructure Plan 2050, which I've mentioned in the past couple of videos. So in the report, it says that the East London line is expected to be 400% busier. Yes, you heard me right, 400% by 2043. And on top of this, the Central and Jubilee lines are also expected to be even busier, which seems hard to believe if you've ever travelled on them at rush hour. This is where Thameslink 2 comes into effect, relieving congestion and creating new routes between the South and East London, with a proposed route connecting East Croydon to Lewisham, Canary Wharf, Stratford, and then onto Greater Anglia or Overground routes. There is also a southern section with alternate routes to Brighton, Seaford and Eastbourne, as well as a south-north link to Tunbridge Wells. If you haven't heard of this before, go check out Rail Future's website for this, because there's a lot of information there, as well as the proposed routes it could take. So currently for the central bit, there's two options they're suggesting. One would be a tunnel straight from East Croydon all the way to Stratford with limited stops. And the other one is to build a shorter section heading towards the Hayes line, and it would be a stopping service until Lewisham, where it would then tunnel underground to Stratford. But it's very interesting, so go and check it out and have a proper read of it. So the next question some people might ask is, why this route? Why connect Croydon and Stratford together? Well, on top of it being mentioned that, the centre is moving towards the east, the London plan also identifies Croydon and Stratford as metropolitan centres. So for those of you that don't know what the London plan is, it's essentially a document that the Greater London Authority make. And it basically shows the future of London, what's going to happen and how the planning sort of occurs by that date and what they want to achieve. And they've identified this hierarchy of centres, which I'll put up on the screen now. And Stratford and Croydon are basically metropolitan centres, which are meant to be wide catchments, serving several boroughs and even parts of the wider southeast region. On top of this, Croydon and the Lee Valley area, which is the bit north of Stratford, have been identified as opportunity areas for housing and development and regeneration, which further emphasises the need for a new line. And because of this, some would argue the expense of this new railway would be made up in economic costs from housing and just social expenditure. So what would this mean for commuters? Well, it would be a huge saving, ironically. So the link between Croydon and Stratford would take it outside Zone 1. So it would stop people paying the excessive fares of going into the dreaded Zone 1 area and then commuting back out again to Canary Wharf or Stratford in Zone 2. So not only would there be a cost savings, there would also be scope to run more trains between Croydon and the central areas, whether that be London Bridge or Victoria. And on top of this, it also links to Crossrail 3. Yes, I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but hear me out. So within the London plan and a couple other documents as well, there are talks about this new rail link. They want to relieve congestion basically from the southwest all the way to the northeast, which is what, some people would assume Crossrail 2 is. But there is also scope to sort of bring the line from Twickenham through Putney and Clapham Junction, connecting to Lewisham and Stratford, where it would then take over the current National Rail routes, which is TfL's long-term goal. So there is some logic to it, although it probably won't be happening for the next 20 years at least. So what's my opinion on this? Well, I'm always a pro for having a new rail line or relieving congestion, as well as cheaper fares. I mean, it seems like a win-win. But sadly, I think there isn't enough pot in the money for this at this moment in time. And it's understandable, because tunnelling from Croydon to Stratford is a very expensive project, as I'm sure we've all seen from Crossrail. In addition to this, the Thameslink contract is supposedly meant to end in less than a year, on the 18th of September 2021. So who knows if they will even get brought back on. It could be a completely new operator with new visionary goals. But I guess we're going to have to wait and find out until then. Thanks for watching all, keep safe, and I'll see you next time.